fans, welcome back to Jay vs. Horror. I'm your host, Jay Wall. Guys, it's Monday, and that means one thing around here. As always, 5 awesome horror films you can watch for free. I've got a wide range of films for you this time, guys. We are going all the way back to the video nasties, and then we're coming all the way to 2020 and hitting one of the best underrated horror films out there from this year, with a lot of love for other films in between. It's going to be a great show. Now, here's how it works. I'm going to give you guys the movies. I'm going to show you the trailer for the movie. If you're interested in it, you cruise down to the description. You click on the movie. Boom, you're right there. Direct link. It's totally free. It's totally legal. You can watch it anytime you want to. Guys, let's talk about some movies. At number 5 this week, I have one of the most underrated, under-talked about horror films of 2020, Homewrecker, directed by Zach Gain, written by Precious Chong and Alex Asoy. Also stars Precious Chong and Alex Asoy. So that's very interesting that they wrote these parts for themselves, because they both nail it. Now, what happens here is we see two women who meet coincidentally at a exercise class, and they kind of have some girl talk, and that turns into them going for a coffee together. Now, from here we see that it becomes obvious that one woman is trying desperately to lure the other woman back to her house. Now, similar to the movie Creep, it's kind of weird because you feel guilty if you don't oblige the person. They're so kind and so nice that you feel like you're a jerk if you don't listen to what they're saying. So the woman kind of goes along with what's happening because she believes this is just a nice person who's misunderstood. And what happens is we end up with a B movie that's a pretty great thriller. It's almost up there on that Misery level. Not quite, but it's up there. It's a lot of fun to watch. So let's take a look at the trailer for Homewrecker.
I'm Linda.
Oh, Michelle, nice to officially meet you.
Likewise.
When would you want to get this process started?
I know, right? I've been trying to get this place put together for years. Let me give you a tour. Let's have a drink. Come on, you know you want one.
I feel terrible. How can I make that up to you?
We could watch a movie.
What? What happened?
I get it. Why would you want to hang out with a weirdo like me?
I'm sorry, but I really have to go.
I don't think so. I can't let you leave if you're angry at me.
I think you're having some kind of breakdown.
What?
Why are you doing this to me?
You're just like everyone else! I'm gonna break your goddamn neck! I told you, I'm fun.
That's good.
All right, horror fans, at number 4, we have Dead and Buried, a classic 1981 American horror film directed by Gary Sherman, starring Melody Anderson, Jack Albertson, and the great James Ferrantino. This was Albertson's last live-action film role before his death 6 months after the film's release. You probably remember him from playing the uncle in Willy Wonka. The film focuses on a small town wherein a few tourists are murdered, but their corpses begin to reanimate, and that's a pretty sloppy description of this film. For me, the film is like a piece of origami, like a beautiful bird folded, and you wonder how it could have ever been just a flat piece of paper, and then you start to unfold it, and you unfold it a little further, and you unfold it a little further. Before you know it, you do have an actual real narrative. It does something that's pretty genius for a mystery film. It starts out by showing you something that's totally crazy, that you just don't understand, and the further you go, the more it explains that thing. But it also has an underlying mystery, a plot that's deeper than the plot. And it's a great film, great effects, even though it was a cheap movie at the time. One of my favorites from 1981. Let's take a look at the trailer for Dead and Buried. At number 3, Johnny Frank Garrett's Last Word. Now, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. This is not my favorite Simon Rumley film. Simon's done some great work, including The Living and the Dead and Red, White, and Blue, two of the best films from the last couple decades out there in the horror genre that nobody ever talks about. But this is not his greatest work. But the film is so damn interesting that I have to recommend it. It's a 2016 American horror thriller film written and directed by Simon Rumley, of course. But even though it's a work of fiction, it's also based on a true story, and it's based on a documentary as well from Jesse Quackenbush, The Last Word, about the trial, conviction, and execution of a Texas man named Johnny Frank Garrett. Now, after Garrett was executed, they discovered a lot of corruption went on in his case, to the point where he is now presumed innocent by most people familiar with the case. So here we have a travesty of justice. An innocent man executed for a crime he did not commit because people were unwilling to admit they'd made mistakes. That's where the legend of the film comes in, because a lot of weird stuff happened to the people involved in this trial. The judge, the prosecutor, different bad things happened to these people. It almost seemed like an episode of Cursed Films. But the events are true, and if you choose to believe that they occur from a curse, that's pretty terrifying, right? But in the film Johnny Frank Garrett's Last Word, that seems to be the problem, because it bounces back and forth between trying to tell the true story of Johnny Frank Garrett and how he got totally blindsided by the justice system, but it also wants to bounce back and be a horror film and kind of have that shocker feel where it's the guy who was executed that's coming after everybody now. So all in all, the film's probably just like 6.5 out of 10. But the story is like 9 out of 10, guys. So go watch the film and then read up on Johnny Frank Garrett. With that being said, let's take a look at the trailer for Phenom director Simon Rumley's Johnny Frank Garrett's Last Word.
His fingerprints were found right next to her stabbed and violated body.
You convict that devil, I swear to God, he will kill again.
Find the defendant guilty of rape and murder.
I'm innocent! I didn't kill him!
We're assembled here today to witness the execution of Johnny Frank Garrett. Anything you want to say to us right now, son?
I would like to tell you for a final time that I am innocent.
They killed Johnny Frank Garrett. It took 10 years, but they finally did it.
There's been a lot of strange things happening. People connected to the trial. Accidents, illnesses.
She's been having dreams about Johnny Frank Garrett.
You know what kind of curse holds the most power? Curse of the innocent. Lazy defense lawyers, corrupt medical examiners. They didn't want us to know.
You're saying he might have been innocent. I convicted him.
It's done. Bast's dead.
Johnny's soul wants justice.
You people, I despise every one of you, and I curse your souls to the deepest depths in hell. Every death of your families will be me. I have your fear. You can't kill me. I will live in your nightmares.
This ends tonight. I got a surprise coming for you.
At number 2, man, this is a trippy little film, guys, but I always find myself going back to it even though it's very weird. A Field in England from 2013. It's a British historical psychological horror film directed by Ben Wheatley, another very underrated British director. The film is shot in black and white, and it's set during the mid-17th century English Civil War. Now, the film is interesting for a lot of different reasons. It's not what it seems. It says psychological horror. I'd almost call it psychedelic horror because it is a drug horror film, which is weird. It also has a lot to do with alchemy, and of course the English Civil War in the 17th century, which we never see films about that, right? So it's an interesting setting to begin with. So you have all these different characters that are involved in this land war that's going on. But the movie is never quite what it seems to be, and it's more like an experimental film event. And you have to check it out for yourself. I don't know if everyone's going to love it, but I'm telling you, I love it. I keep going back to it. Let's take a look at the trailer for A Field in England.
Whitehead! I know you're there!
Do not concern yourself with bravery and I, Whitehead. It is official. You are my prisoner.
I think I have worked out what God is punishing us for. Everything.
Yamisha! We have the treasure!
If you do not cease, we may be blasted by an ill planet.
You cannot escape the fate, Whitehead! Then I shall become it! I shall consume all the ill fortune which you are set to unleash!
I shall chew up all the selfish scheming and ill intentions that men like you force upon men like me!
What do you see, friend?
Nothing. Perhaps. Only shadows.
All right, horror fans, at number 1, I have The Silence of the Lambs. That's right, you can watch it for free on YouTube. And where do I even start with The Silence of the Lambs, guys? This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've done several specific videos just about this film on this channel already, so I won't gush too much. I'll just give you the basic information again. But like I said, I do have other videos on this channel where I break down the entire film and even talk about the way the film was made, the story behind the film. It's all great stuff, all the way down to, Thomas Harris meeting Dr. Alfredo Bali Trevino, who is the real-life serial killer or supposed serial killer that Hannibal Lecter is actually based on. But yeah, here I go. See, I'm getting into... I can't talk about this film without talking about it over and over and over and how much I love it. And, I think the next video I do about Silence of the Lambs is going to be with the problems I've come up with this film over the years. I do have some. But, yeah, for years and years, it was probably unequivocally my number 1 film. But The Silence of the Lambs is a 1991 American psychological horror film directed, of course, by Jonathan Demme, written by Ted Talley, adapted from the Thomas Harris 1988 novel The Silence of the Lambs. It stars Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, a young FBI trainee who is hunting a serial killer called Buffalo Bill, played by Ted Levine, who skins his female victims. To catch him, she seeks the advice of the imprisoned Dr. Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, a brilliant psychiatrist and cannibalistic serial killer. Scott Glenn and Anthony Held also feature in the film. Now, this is actually, of course, we all know, the second adaptation from a Thomas Harris novel. Manhunter came first. Manhunter got no love, and a lot of people were scared to even touch Silence of the Lambs because they thought it was going to have the same fate. You'd sink a bunch of money into it and not get anything back out. But man, were they wrong. It won everything at the Oscars in 1991. Or actually, I guess in 1992, because it came out right after the Oscars in 91, and it qualified for the 92 Oscars. So yeah, guys, that's it, The Silence of the Lambs. I thought I'd tell you where you could watch it for free. You can also watch Hannibal for free, so that's a bonus. You can watch Hannibal for free, the movie, of course, on YouTube. And, you know, CBS is fixing to drop this new Clary Starling series on us. Hannibal is now at Netflix, and everybody's watching it and getting excited about the possibility of Netflix bringing it back for a 4th season. So go back to the basics. You know, do your homework. Watch Manhunter. Watch The Silence of the Lambs. Watch Hannibal. And, of course, even watch Red Dragon, because I think it's interesting to compare the two. Red Dragon is more like the book than Manhunter, in my opinion. Although I think that Manhunter handles the procedural part of it, and it is a great deal procedural in the novel. But yeah, it's interesting. And also Hannibal Rising is even a fun movie. So with all that being said, guys, let's take a look at one of my favorite films of all time, 1991's The Silence of the Lambs.
You spook easily, Starling?
Not yet, sir.
He's past the others. The last cell. I'll be watching. You'll do fine.
A killer is on the loose.
Keeps them alive for 3 days. Then he shoots them, skins them, and dumps them.
A rookie FBI agent is on his trail.
He's got real physical strength, cautious, precise, and he's never impulsive. He'll never stop.
But in order to track him down, she'll have to match wits.
I'll help you catch him, Clary.
Believe me, you don't want Hannibal Lecter inside your head.
With the darkest of all minds.
Just do your job, but never forget what he is.
Oh, he's a monster. Pure psychopath. So rare to capture one alive.
So close to the way you're going to catch him. Do you realize that? Oh, Clarice, your problem is you need to get more fun out of life.
You told me you don't spook easily.
You call this easy, sir?
Lecter's missing hand arm.
Man's a raving maniac. Who knows what he'll do?
Thank you, Clary. Thank you.
All right, horror fans, that's all we have for you this week. That's 5 awesome movies you can watch for free anytime you want to. Just cruise down to the description, click the link, boom, you're right there. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, check out our Patreon page. I'm going to put the link to that in the description too. So if you want to help us out, donate $2 or $3 a month. We would appreciate it a great deal. If not, we're going to keep talking about these films because that's all we know how to do anyway. As always, guys, we will talk to you the next time we've got something worth talking about. Bye.